Okay, we are live. Welcome everyone to the Social Sound System Google Hangout with Ryan Walker. He's a part-time dreamer, part-time wolf, sometimes he's a shark. And he also plays in a little band called Imagine Dragons. He's a touring member, and he's taken the time to say hi to all of our fans out there.
That's right. How's it going? Thanks for having me.
He's currently lurking in my backyard.
I am.
And then we also have on here Charles Walker with iRock.com. They are the #1 source for live streaming on the web. It's basically like a TV guide for any streaming concert that's going on the web, and it's really cool to go and see all those listings there and see what, there's basically music going at any given time. So
thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being a part of it. Why don't we start with now the reason why I asked you on the interview, Charles, is to be a co-host is because you've met Ryan before, and you've been a writer, and you actually met him out at the Life is Beautiful festival. Why don't you guys talk about that?
Yeah, totally. So it's been, that was the end of October. It was the inaugural Life is Beautiful festival, and was out there to cover the event, and Ryan took some time out of his busy schedule to hang out and give us a little bit of his time. And so today I just kind of want to catch up with him, see what's been happening. I know there's been, since that festival, some new music that's been in the works, some new music that has been released, and so now is a perfect opportunity to see when we can expect some more, see what's been up for the last 6 months, and just kind of talk the world of dreamers.
Yeah, man.
So, so you're in Los Angeles right now, right?
Yeah, Silver Lake.
Hometown?
Yeah, I grew up in San Diego, but I call LA home now after 8 or 9 years. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So that gives a little bit of context for people that are tuned in. They know where we're at, what we're up to. So, what's for you now? You're home. What's a typical day for you? Do you wake up and turn on some jams? What do you got going on, man?
Yeah, I've been my place. It doesn't have any curtains right now. It's still like fairly new, so I'm barely moving in. But I'm getting up nice and early. The sun's getting me up, so that's a good thing because usually when I'm on tour, lobby calls are a little bit later for us, so I'm able to sleep in. So I'm getting up on the earlier side and getting my coffee, taking a walk. I live downtown LA, so I walk around, walk a couple blocks, get my coffee at my local joint, and then just kind of walk around and get inspired. And then come back and just start brainstorming. I think, definitely for me, the mornings are the best time for me to kind of start jotting down some ideas, if it's lyrics, or working on, kind of a foundation of a song before I get nice and weird and creepy into the night and start adding the layers,
Totally. So, you mentioned finding things that inspire you, be it what you find on the streets of LA, be it what you find in your mind. What are some things that really drive your inspiration?
Yeah, I mean, when I did the first Dreamers record, it was basically just the hunger of trying to get music out there and not having really a fan base and not really knowing, basically the fear and I guess the adrenaline of the unexpected, of just putting music out there. So.
And that's been about what? 7, 8 years now?
Yeah. So, and that was like a music that I wrote, like an archive of music. So now, things are definitely different because that was definitely during my struggles and working in restaurants and just trying to make it in LA. Luckily, my hometown was San Diego, so I could go back and lick my wounds and come back and keep battling. But yeah, I mean, now it's it's a little bit different for me because the inspiration comes from all over. I mean, it's being as a touring member with Imagine Dragons. It's insane being up on stage and just being with those guys and being around such talented musicians and being around fans and seeing how much that music changes lives and inspires people. It definitely drives me to want to write. So, I try to hold back from writing as much as I can while I'm on tour. So while I'm home, I try to write as much as I can because I want to put 100% towards my production when I am home. So to try to find a balance of relaxing when I'm off tour and writing is something I'm still struggling with right now. But I think what happens with inspiration for me, it just builds up and it builds up in me, and then I could just hold it and then let it out when I'm ready, when I'm in the studio. So it's good. Like, I used to do it just on the daily, but now I hold it in and I go in, and sometimes I'll write 3 to 4 songs in one session when I'm sitting at home within a few hours, and those are core songs. So I'm definitely producing a lot faster, but I know where the inspiration comes from, and it's building up, you know.
Totally.
Other things, tours and stuff like that. Yeah.
I was gonna say, so then there's tons of stuff in the works, you know, not only from before jumping on tour with Imagine Dragons, but now that like you were just saying, you're able to find inspiration from that and really take off and write some music. What, you know, last time we talked, you were talking about how Dreamers is kind of open to being a collective of musicians and being very welcoming of artist collaborations. And what, you know, any news on that front? Have you had any people in the studio with you that you've been stoked on working with recently that people can expect to hear soon?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of musicians that we talk, you know, about getting in the studio and doing things, but it's so hard with our schedules because, you know, if it's, you know, some of the guys, you know, Spencer from Capital Cities, we're still hungry to get in the studio together and do some things. We've done songs together, but they're just not released yet. And he did some horn parts to them, which is, you know, amazing. They sound great. What's more important than this interview right now, Xavier? I see you on your phone.
Yeah, come on, X.
No, but
that was cool about you know, for me, Life is Beautiful was the first time that I got to see you guys live. It was probably the first time for a lot of people in the crowd there that got to see you guys live, and it was a nice surprise to see Spencer up there just wailing on that trumpet. And you know, I looked around and I had a feeling that not a lot of people knew really what was going on. Didn't really expect that, but it was super rad. It was a very nice addition. And Nico stopped by too when we were having that interview, and he sounded like he would be stoked to do something in the future with you guys. So what, you know, how much time do you think you spend in the studio? You get in a given month or you know, given day.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it depends, like, because I'm traveling so much. I intentionally just travel with a huge bag, a huge check-on, so I could, like, basically roll with, like, a keyboard.
Huge bag of what?
Music instruments and inspiration.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, inspiration.
No, but yeah, I roll with a studio. So as soon as I check into a hotel or something, I'll bust it all out. I use an ironing board for my guitar or my keyboard stand. So, like, when people, like, mates come in to check out my room, it's like a full, like, makeshift studio with, like, speakers and everything. So, but even if that's for a day or so. But to answer your question, I'm working every day. You know, if it's on apps, you know, on my phone or on my iPad, you know, every day, if it's a flight or whatever, I'm coming up with ideas. Lately, you know, this year, voice recorder on my phone has been, like, my best friend, like, because I've never had before just crazy melodies or lyrics just pop up in my head, and I guess it's a good time for me to write, and so I'm just humming things, and they sound horrible when I listen back to them, but I swear they'll sound a lot better once I put them down on track.
Totally.
That reminds me of that one time at Lollapalooza, Chicago, when you were running that whole studio out of that hotel room, and we had the bathtub filled with the party.
Beer? Yeah.
Yeah, a bathtub full of beer, yeah.
Yeah, for clients, of course.
Clients,
that
you
were
know,
21 and up.
The talent, you know, 21 and up.
Yeah, that had a valid ID.
So you mentioned apps, and, you know, this day and age, your music's kind of like future pop, kind of future disco, little bass going on, and the new track, Before You Walk Away, right? That's the title of the new track, right?
Yeah.
And so I just listened to that the other day, just no preconceived notion or anything, and I really got down to it, just like, you know, being out here in LA, middle of the afternoon, just working away. It was very refreshing, and it was, you know, kind of knowing your background now, you know it's not a forced track. You know it wasn't made overnight and shot out to meet someone's deadline. And so for me, when I look at musicians, I like to support musicians who keep control of their product. I like to support musicians who keep control of their creative endeavors and release it when they feel like now's the right time, rather than saying you need to release this now and you're like, no, dude, I'm not down.
Right.
So that I dig that.
Cool, man. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite line is the first line.
I'm falling like a child star.
Yeah.
That was actually after a suicide of a child star here in Hollywood.
Ooh, not funny. Sorry, I laughed.
No. It's but yeah, it's yeah, that's kind of where it originated from. Such a sad world for a lot of them, you know. But that's
we'll
a
leave
whole
it at that.
topic. Yeah, but
apps, music apps, technology. Yeah. You use new age technology in terms of you use synths, you use a computer, you use a keyboard. What? Yeah. In terms of equipment and in terms of cell phone apps and iPod, you know, iTunes is kind of floating away, but there's a big market out there for technology and music crossing paths. So I'm interested to hear kind of, you know, what do you use? What do you like? What do you have that you can't live without besides voice recorder?
Like really, like I use, and this sounds crazy because this is from like early 90s, is Fruity Loops. I don't even know if a lot of the kids watching right now would even know what that is, but Fruity Loops is like...
That was before Ableton was hot, like 3 years prior to Ableton.
Yeah, and so,
totally.
So they relaunched like an HD version, whatever that means, and it has like the sound bake's insane, and it has like 99 tracks you can record on your iPad, and like crazy synths that you could actually create your own that has like amazing EQs, and you could add like all kinds of effects to them. So I use that, and actually like the Dreamer set that you came to, the one-off show we did at Life is Beautiful, a lot of those songs like no one's ever heard before, and I only played the Dreamers, which is our single off the first record. That was the only song that we played that anybody would know, but a lot of those other ones I wrote while I was flying around, you know, on Fruity Loops, and then just basically, imported them back into Logic and tried to beef them up a little bit. And then, and then formed that band. And that band, you know, the core of the band is Chris Vargas, the drummer, our drummer, and then Ken Cain, who's always been with me since the beginning, and he's a dreamer as well with me. And so that's the core of the band. The rest of them we formed kind of around it to make the show happen, which they dedicated weeks to make it happen, which is awesome. But anyways, to go back to the app, you know, I did everything through Fruity Loops, and then on my phone, on my Samsung, there's actually like a really cool app that I use. It's Audio Evolution Recorder, and that has like, you know, 40-something tracks you can record, but lately I've been trying to keep it down to the 4-track, 8-track recording and trying to keep songs as simple as possible, because now it's like the technology and these apps you have, you could just record forever and just layer and layer and layer, and people aren't keeping like when artists aren't keeping like the thought of how are we going to translate this live. So I really am trying to, like, Before You Walk Away is really only about 16 tracks. There's the bass line, there's a couple synths and stuff like that. I'm always doing multiple vocal harmonies and stuff like that, and I grew up listening to Beach Boys, so I go with that. But going back to apps, it's best just to get like a 4-track recorder or something like that, and really dumb down the writing process, because if you have a core of a song, then you have something, you know what I mean? If you could really just play it through, if it's like acoustic guitar or whatever. So
totally.
I have a friend of mine that's in Australia that he went out and bought an MPC specifically because you can only like have so many megabytes in the little cards.
Yeah.
You know, and he has to actually think about what's going to go in each sample bank, and then to try and make that a live performance. It's been fun to like figure out that puzzle.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. So, you know, I use that, the voice recorder, like I said, you know, SoundCloud I'm going to like every day now, because it's so easy for artists. They don't have to go through the whole CD Baby to iTunes thing or to get an official song out there. So SoundCloud's great because it's like everything's on there, man. It's like, and people, they don't really care about the quality of the song. I mean, they're straight demos that people are putting up there. And the people who have like an open ear and that are not really there to be critics are discovering like amazing artists that might not ever have a chance to be out on a label or to be out playing shows. So it's
100%.
yeah, you know, so it shows you just like how much talent's out there on SoundCloud. It's insane.
It is, and it works. It's good for both the musicians putting their music on there and for, like you said, the consumers that are looking to discover some new music.
There's this theory of like good enough. Like if it's good enough, like people will go watch videos on YouTube taken with a cell phone, and it sounds like crap, but it's good enough for them. And it's like
it's true.
People today like don't care. It's like music's music, you know. And if it's new and it's recent.
That's a good point. So what do you guys think about live streaming then? You know, and on the getting off the recorded non-live streaming side of things, because that's kind of running rampant right now. What do you guys think about live streaming, just fully on, truly live, whether it's just audio or audio and video? Because like you said, if it's there and they want it, they'll get it. It's kind of
streaming now.
Yeah, exactly. So just,
I mean. It blows my mind, like especially when I'm on tour with the guys, like how many people could actually view, like if we're doing other shows that I think aren't even being filmed, like are being put out on the internet. Like bands are finding them, and finding the videos, and festivals, like that's huge for them, and that's another like avenue of revenue for them as well as streaming, at festivals and stuff like that. People who don't have the opportunity or don't have the funds to go, at least they have an alternative for that, and that's a whole nother beast,
Totally. I mean, I know when you guys played the All-State Fan Fest around bowl time, I sat at my desk and just watched the chat go absolutely nuts, watched great video, great sound, and it was from my living room here in LA, and you guys were, I think New Orleans that was. And
right.
Yeah, and it was just like, it's brilliant and it's crazy. So it's cool to hear an artist's side of it, because a lot of times people don't really care to ask them. There's someone else giving permission, but I'm interested to always ask that question when the topic comes up.
It's interesting because when we huddle up, when I'm with the guys and we huddle up and talk about the show and how we're going to go out and give 110%, because we try to push that every night, but we talk about who's on the other side of the camera as well watching, you know what I mean, and we're keeping it in perspective. So we're always trying to give 110% to the crowd and to who's sitting at home and watching, and that's why the mixes are so important as well, especially for artists, because your mix needs to come through right, even if it's through your computer or if they're watching on their iPhone, you know what I mean. So it's important that people are aware of that as well when you're doing live streams. So.
And that's rightfully so. That's where the most resistance comes from artists, is when that's their number one worry, is how am I going to sound on the other end?
Yeah.
And it's like I said, rightfully so. Well, so what do you think, X? What do you guys think? You think we should open this up to the chat, to the floor?
We did about 20 minutes of just a general chat with us. Also, one app that we were talking about is we're going to be doing this app called Burner. And we're going to basically give Ryan Walker's phone number out.
Yes. Other than the guys in the band in Imagine Dragons giving out my number to prank me, it's actually going out.
Yeah. So after the hangout, we'll put a number out, and you guys can text him direct, and we can go from there. So yeah, why don't we get to these fan questions here, Ryan? We'll just start. We have... Just Carly XO, she is currently wanting to know, what are some cool things you did while staying in New York City? I'm here right now, and I'm open to suggestions. Thank you.
I would say stay away from Times Square. It's kind of a circus over there, and the food's horrible. Sorry, Times Square, but Central Park is so much fun. It's huge. It's like much bigger than I ever thought it'd be. Like I literally went there and spent 2 days. It's so much fun. It's crazy. It's a whole nother world. I mean, you could eat lunch there. There's all kinds of like different rides, and it's just a cool place to chill. I'm sure the weather there is amazing right now, so you could go out there and hang out. Going out to Brooklyn's always fun. There's always cool art out there as well. Williamsburg, of course. Maybe a little hipsterish, but there's a lot of cool places out there. And just taking the subway around and checking out the city is the best way and the cheapest way to do it. Stay away from the taxis; they'll run you up and take you down wrong way streets. So. Oh, and the museums, of course, the museums. Yes, go to all the museums too, and all the subways will run there. So check it out.
Yeah. Because this is a general question for people. What's up with a Dreamers album? You and I were kind of just casually talking about this earlier. How do you feel about, and a new album? That's Katie May was asking. Any info on a Dreamers album, or, in general, what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, I basically, I like to stay really relevant and on top of the music because I'm so ADD that I feel whatever I wrote 6 months ago I don't like anymore, so I'm very hard on myself about it, but I'm sure things I have on my drive and in my archive would definitely do, but I scratched this, I scratched my whole Dreamers EP and just put out Before You Walk Away, and the people, my family and friends I showed my songs to, they loved the EP, and I'm sure a lot of people would, but are the people out there who are my fans, but I think right now with my traveling and everything, and how technology is working right now, I really don't see a reason for me to even put out an EP or a full length, and this is kind of how I've been going for the last few weeks, and I'm just gonna say it that I think basically I'm just gonna keep just putting out singles and just putting out these little one-offs, and just maybe if it's a song a month or whatever, something I could really keep on top of, and fans know that's where my art's going, and they could grow with me, and kind of see where my head's at during that time, and it's nothing that's older, or maybe a year or whatever, and plus with my schedule, it's to even put something out 5 to 6 songs to 16 songs, it's going to be really hard because Imagine Dragons, being a tour member with those guys is my top priority. It doesn't get any better than this. So Dreamers is one of those people that I always have music online, and so I think the thing is I'll be doing singles moving forward throughout this year and just releasing
hotel singles.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's the plan. So I go in the studio next week to do another single. So that'll come out this month. So just keep putting out songs.
Here's a question related to that. Delash Lily, she says you did a duet with Taryn Manning on the first album. Any new collaborations coming up?
Yeah, I'm gonna work with Taryn again. We actually have we're gonna do a few songs. So Taryn is a huge supporter of Dreamers, and absolutely. It's an honor to work with her. Her voice is amazing. She's super talented on screen and off, and amazing person. So we're definitely going to do more songs together. I've already sent her a couple tracks, and we're going to keep pushing forward with some more songs. So with her, we're going to collaborate with, and then I'm in talks with a couple other artists right now. Until I actually get them in the studio and get them on tracks, I don't want to put them on blast. But there are collaborations coming out.
Cool. Here's a question from Smart Panda 12, and it kind of goes to Charlie's question: is any idea if Dreamers will tour anytime in the near future? And then also, I guess that's kind of what about a streaming tour or couch tours or stuff like that? Any thoughts?
Yeah, I think that for Dreamers, for us touring, I mean, I think the focus is me to keep writing and then from there, it's so hard with a lot of the guys because they're not, the guys who are in the band, they're not full-time musicians necessarily. Chris is actually, but a lot of the guys have jobs, so, it's hard for guys to break away. So I think when I could form a band with some guys who have an open schedule and could go out and tour, then I'll look at forming a band. And I think as Imagine Dragons, their schedule frees up. As the band keeps growing, I think we will have a lot more free time. That I will start. I'll definitely go out and tour, and I don't see it being big venues, so it'll definitely be refreshing for us to hit smaller cap venues and get really intimate with fans and get to know them.
So, what do you think in the short term? You think there will be any one-off little club gigs? Any LA venues?
I would love to. But yeah, as
Probably
of
not.
now, I think it's about just writing and growing as artists.
Sure.
Like I would love to really get tight, in the studio and do something. And if I did do anything, it'd just be me solo, with my tracks, my keyboard, and my guitar with some loop pedals,
Yeah,
and doing.
that was
Yeah.
another thing. Do you ever do that? Do you ever just go out and hit an open mic? There's so much music and so many different offerings out here in LA. Do you just when you're bored and you find the time, do you go out and hit any open mics?
I haven't for years, but I did when I was in Vegas, when I was hanging out with Dan from Imagine Dragons, when we were first getting to know each other. I would go around and just play acoustic, like pop-up shows wherever I could. Walk in with my guitar. Literally, I had like long hair down to here and a big beard, so maybe I was intimidating to the people when I asked them to play, so they just let me play. But I'd play like all Dreamers tunes on my acoustic guitar. So I don't know. I am getting like the itch to play. Like for smaller venues, even if it's for like 5 or 10 people, I would love to. So maybe I will.
Nice.
I think that's something I'm open to. Yeah.
Right on.
We have a question from yourself. From Ryan Walker on Instagram. It's your fan club.
Oh, it's a fan club? Cool. Thanks, guys.
Who's the favorite person you've ever worked or performed with?
Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Man, that guy, like, I was so intimidated to meet him, but he was the nicest guy, and so professional, so humble, and it was just a dream because he is literally my favorite MC. So, he's so smart with his lyrics and so on top of it right now, and I think he's on like another level compared to anybody else that's out there. So, to be able to like share the stage with him was amazing, and it was a dream come true for sure. Even to be part of the Grammys, but to even like rock it with Kendrick at that and Saturday Night Live, and just to talk to him, like great dude. So that was my favorite for sure.
Here's a random question, because you guys just got back from South America, and I know you have a lot of people down in Brazil. Well, that's Brazil with an S, not a Z, correct?
Yeah.
And so what you want to just talk about Brazil and South America in general?
They're really the best fans in the world. I mean, it was like they were, requesting for Imagine Dragons to come down there forever. Like when I was with the guys, they would get tweets all the time, and they'd read them and be like, hey, like, even when it's time hit the radio, they were like, we really got to hit Brazil. We really got to hit Brazil. And when we got out there, the fan love was just insane. Like nothing we've ever felt before. I mean, the Lollapaloozas, playing for, 80 to 90,000 people, and these fans just had the biggest smile on their face. There was nothing like, I don't think there'll be a bigger high for me to see those people and to meet with them and their energy. I mean, there's so much love down there in Brazil. So, I mean, seriously, it was so inspiring. I'm actually writing music based on that experience for being down in Brazil. So it was life-changing for me.
So that kind of ties into Anya Cervantes' question, saying just how have your fans affected you?
Yeah. I'm more humbled. I'm writing, based on my experience down there, and I saw like a lot of different parts of Brazil. Even talking to fans, I get a lot of letters and stuff like that I get to read, and they're just inspiring. So yeah, through my music is where I'm going to channel it, and honestly, I can't wait to go back. It's one of the greatest places in the world.
Katie May says your new album should be called Hotel Singles.
Hotel Singles, okay. Maybe one day, like we were talking about X, I'll take all the singles and just put them together for a record and then re-release that. I don't know.
Yeah.
For free though,
Charles,
because
we were talking about that. Like, we were thinking just like music in general, like singles today, and like it keeps you relevant if you keep putting out new music. Maybe you may not like it, but maybe like Picasso kept on putting out paintings, and that became his blue period, and then his cubist period, and just what do you think about that? Like as far as like just releasing music and music, like do you think that's?
I think I think there's an oversaturation of music being released, and that's in some terms that's not a bad thing, but for me personally, I'm coming back with the whole concept of listening to an entire album rather than going to my favorite streaming service and typing in the one song that I want to hear and giving it 15 seconds and going to something else. And I don't know. That's kind of where I go with the whole thing now. It's a tough one. That's tough for me.
And that's interesting you say that, because I really feel like, like Before You Walk Away, like that song is, my next single is going to be completely different. It's like a completely different change. So I feel like in a way, like if you do release like an EP or a record, it gives like a fan a better opportunity to understand your sound. That's why I hope if like throughout this year, if I could just release like singles and get them out there, that people could understand like the new sound of Dreamers. Well, and then when I have more time, get in the studio,
Well, and I think your case is a little bit different than what's, kind of on the surface of how I was thinking. I was thinking in terms of, okay, I've been releasing music. I'm going to continue releasing music in the same fashion that I have been type way. But, your case is different because you haven't released music in so long. You've been so busy and focused with the Imagine Dragons project, but at the same time, you've been hustling the Dreamers project, and so it's right. And, to answer the original question, I think if there's a creative way for a musician or for a band to release singles and independent tracks and do it differently than putting out a whole EP or a whole album, I give that way more applause, and that appeals to me much more than new day, new track, or new week, new track. It's like I have to be a very hardcore fan to buy into that on a regular basis.
Tell you what, I've been streaming the new Little Dragon all day.
Yeah, that's killer. Yeah.
I have a question, just because Walker, we grew up in San Diego, and this is pretty awesome. I was very jealous that you got to go play in Mexico City, because that's just huge. But Marie Sucks on Twitter says, I have a question. Did you try mezcal in Mexico?
I did. I actually did after I got food poisoning from eating 3 chicken tacos.
Whoops.
Or it could have been the margarita I had. I'm not quite sure. Because they say don't chew on the ice and eat it, and I definitely did. But the mezcal I did have, and it was insane. It's totally different than tequila, that's for sure.
That's great.
But just one. I had one.
Just one. Did you have the crickets, the chapulinas, with the mezcal?
No.
Here's a question, because we did do that. When will Dreamers merch be available? I know we just had...
Actually, for each single that I'm releasing, we're going to be putting out a T-shirt, so it's kind of like a little collection that you could have. But this is the first one, so this is Dreamers Before You Walk Away. And this is the new one, but yeah,
we'll have a
they're
link
out.
in the thing. Yeah, they're out.
Yeah, we have a link, right? We could share X.
Yeah, we shared it. Yeah, we'll send it out too.
All right, cool. Yeah, so the official Dreamers logo tee that has all the squares going into a small one, that one will be available, I think, this week online as well. So if fans want that, which is the logo that's the official Dreamers logo, and that's that one will be released. That's the cover for the first Dreamers record as well, and that'll be available next week. But these one-of-a-kinds will be, for Before You Walk Away, each single.
Where did the name Dreamers come from? I saw that get asked.
Yeah.
Someone asked that.
Hold on, let me see. Let me find it. There's this,
Imagining Nick asked, where did you guys get the name?
So
Dreamers?
there's this cool thing on. Hold on, I could like push and say when we're gonna answer it. Someone said we can get burritos and tequila. And
oh wait, they want to get that for us? Give your address right now.
Only California burritos.
It was funny. I was actually talking to somebody who loves authentic Mexican food, and they were so upset about the California burrito. He's Mexican, but he was upset about it. He was like, I cannot believe, I was telling him the things that are in it, and he couldn't believe that potatoes or fries go into a California burrito. He was dogging on it. I couldn't even go there. I was just listening to him rant, and I was like, if I went there, this would be a heated conversation for a few hours. That's how passionate I am about my Mexican food.
I could seriously live off of tacos, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Me too.
I mean, and before I moved to LA, I wasn't big on it, and then I slowly gravitated towards I'll eat a taco or 5 anytime, anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. My brother-in-law who did the Before You Walk Away artwork, David, he's half Korean, and he didn't like Mexican food because he's from New York. But now we're slowly breaking him in. And at dinner, he like mumbled it. He's like, "I'm really growing to Mexican food. I really like it." I'm like, "What'd you say?" He's like, "Mexican food. I'm really starting to like it again." I'm like, "Get a little bit louder." Just on recording. But yeah. So it catches on, man. So that's good news. I'm glad you're enjoying the tacos.
Yeah.
Real question: Where did you get? Okay, going back now. Where did you get the name Dreamers? This is for Imagining Nick.
Yeah, that was me and Ken. We were just hanging out. He got the first place here in LA, which is off Centinela in Santa Monica. I was staying on his floor while I was job searching, and we were going to the beach a lot with our acoustic guitars and writing. And it was like, it just kind of came up when we were talking that this is kind of like, we wanted to make it, like I said, Beach Boys was a huge inspiration for me, and it was kind of like California dream, you know, of having a band and 2 musicians moving to LA. So, and then I think Ken mentioned something about us being a bunch of stupid dreamers, and I was like, well, you know, let's go with the name Dreamers.
Cool.
So, yeah. That's where you got it.
Cool.
Thanks, Nick.
So yeah, I think let's see. We'll answer 2 more questions. I'm going to go for the top ones here. Let's see. I guess here's one from, oh shit, these things are moving around. Anya Cervantes, she wants to know how many instruments do you play? And then someone else would like to know what is your, Dahlia P23 also wants to know, like, what is your favorite instrument to play? So I guess those tie in together.
I play instruments. I play keyboards, guitar, drums, bass, the vocal chord instrument, 5, percussions, 6, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 instruments. And then my favorite one is, I say drums because when I could play it, I just like to let out a lot of aggression on them. And what I do is when I play drums is I play with my favorite records, if it's Black Keys or whatever. So I put headphones on, and that's the best way to learn drums, is like put your headphones on, listen to the music, and just listen to the drums and play exactly what they're playing. And I love doing that because it really like opens up a creative flow for me for writing. So yeah, drums, I think.
Every time I do that, though, it just ends up being kind of like that scene in Beer Fest where he thinks he's like walking around being the cool guy, and then next thing you know, just with a box on his head.
Yeah. Somebody walks in the room, it just sounds horrible and off time, like a monkey just banging on a drum.
Speaking of Black Keys, though, their new video is pretty awesome. Have you seen that?
No. What is it?
They did this like 80s like evangelist infomercial where it's like the number across the bottom, and the song's called Fever, and they're like singing to the audience, and Dan's all sweating, like they're just like, yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's cool. I remember Goldfinger doing something like similar to that, where they did like a talk show back in the day. Remember that?
Goldfinger?
Yeah, remember Goldfinger?
Yes.
Actually, Darren, the drummer, yeah, I'm gonna put him on blast. We're working together on something. So if you're watching, what's up, buddy?
I remember Goldfinger. It was like that SWAT snow fest or ski fest when we were in high school, and I didn't get to go. It was like Goldfinger, Blink-182, and Real Big Fish on like a show like back when. And I got in trouble and I got grounded.
A lot of these kids probably never even heard of them, so
yeah,
I guess
go listen to Dude Ranch and Cheshire Cat.
Southern California. Yeah.
So let's see. Let's ask this last one. I mean, just for the sake. Let's see.
Somebody has something waffles in their name down here. Do you see that?
Static Waffles. Okay, yeah. You like that one? Well, that's it.
Well, you pick and choose the questions.
Oh, no,
I just thought waffles. Because I literally had my first waffle last year, and the band thinks that's insane that I've gone my whole life without having a waffle.
What?
Yeah. And I had waffles and chicken, and it was amazing. And it's
Did you
probably
go to
going to put like
Roscoe's?
30 pounds on me.
30 pounds.
Did you get it at Roscoe's?
No, we're out. Well, the first waffle I had was Waffle House. It's kind of it's like Midwest, kind of like a Denny's type place. I hope I'm not offending anybody with the Denny's and Waffle House reference, but yeah, it's but it's good. It's good. But the band was like, "There's no way," and I was like, "Yes." Like I came from a house where we did not have waffles, so. And they were like, "Look, you add syrup to it," and I was like, "What?" My mind was blown. But, anyways, question, hit me.
Okay. Well, I guess we kind of talked about it. We said the inspiration before you walk away.
Oh yeah, that was from a breakup.
Breakup.
Yeah. That's all I'm gonna say.
There's a.
And if she's watching, I'm not gonna do the gesture. She's in another country anyway, so it's all good. She's probably not watching.
Okay, this is gonna be the final question. How many secrets are you hiding under your hat?
How many secrets?
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
Oh, you know what? Here's something. I'm actually growing back my mohawk in the back. You can see it. Because Dan, our singer, he gave up the rat tail. He's gonna grow his hair out, so I'm bringing it back. So that's it. That's it. That's the only secret. But other than that, I don't know anything. I don't know anything about the new Imagine Dragons record or anything. So I don't know. No secrets here.
Well, thank you for disclosing the secrets you did disclose. Charles, thank you for joining us and lending your personality and such.
Sure, thanks for having me. Always a pleasure. Ryan, thanks, man.
Hey, thanks, buddy. Good to see you again.
Good to see you, too.
Stay cool.
Yeah, you too. Stay well, dude.
And we'll send out the link to the Before You Walk Away shirts, and also we'll send out Ryan Walker's phone number, which is, ready, write this down, 323-402-17. Wait, is that the real one? No, that's not the real one.
Yeah. No. Send him my the
Wait,
burner.
what is the number? You had the number. You had the number there. Why don't you tell her? I don't want to.
Yeah, my burner number. Hold up. But this will go directly to my phone.
Yeah.
You came real close there, X. That would have been fun though.
I crossed out the wrong phone number.
Oh, look at Darren from Goldfinger just hit me. He said, "We jamming or what?" Ha ha. See, his ears are ringing. Okay, let's see here. What is it? So they sent it to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do I get it? Oh, to my email, right?
No, let's see. Well, we'll send it in the message. We'll tweet it and we'll do that. Just so I can double check with you.
Yeah, we'll double check it, but it will come directly to my phone, guys. So
there's something in your. There's some sort of creature in the background.
Here. Oh, she's scared. It's okay, girl. Come here. It's okay.
Well,
cutie.
That's Olive.
Hi, Olive.
Olive's a sweetheart. She likes to snuggle.
All right. Well, thanks, everyone. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Charles.
Thanks, X.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Later.
See you guys.